So in a previous video, I described and explained how and why a college degree right now is not worth what it once was. And in fact, it might be worth less than it has ever been worth. In part because so many people have them, close to 40% of people over the age of 25 in the United States have a college degree. In part because it takes less time, energy, and effort to get a college degree. People used to spend 25 to 35 hours a week outside of class working on their degrees if they were a full-time student. Now it's less than half of that. And if you're thinking, oh, well, if it's part-time, it's not. If you look at it, the numbers add up. 3 credit classes, people are not spending 7 to 10 hours outside of class a week anymore. So people have less training. There's more people with degrees, and the training they're getting just not as difficult or rigorous as it used to be. Some of that has to do maybe with people worrying about retention rates and graduation rates and wanting to make courses easier for people to pass. The other part of it might have been, well, not might have been, I think it was wildly exacerbated by COVID-19. And the education people were getting during COVID really compromised their abilities, the skills they developed, and what they know. But I did promise you a way to overcome all of those reasons and the degree inflation that result from those reasons. And I'm going to tell you how. But first, I want to consider a couple of possibilities as to how this degree inflation thing might shake out, so that we can use that as a foundation to illustrate how, if you are to do what I ask you to do at the end of this video, your college experience will be inflation proof. Your college degree will be inherently valuable, and your college experience coupled with your college degree will serve as good a golden ticket as you could possibly imagine towards the job you want, towards the graduate school you want, towards the life you want. Now, it won't be perfect and foolproof. I can't guarantee everybody gets the job of their dreams, but it will be as valuable as any college degree has ever been for a person like you graduating from a school like wherever you're graduating from. There are a handful of ways, and probably some combination of these handful of ways is what will turn out to be the case, that the degree inflation could play itself out. After that last video, the video examining Allison's TikTok, I ended up speaking with a friend of mine who had watched it. And we have very different views on what's going to happen with regard to degree inflation. But we're also coming from different perspectives. They are a full-time faculty member at a research institution. The undergraduate courses they teach are primarily upper division ones. And what they are seeing right now is droves and droves of students, record numbers of students failing classes, withdrawing from classes, getting D's in classes, and they believe that many of these students will end up just flunking out or dropping out. Now, the reasons that they suppose this to be happening, and I think they're right, is one, many of these students had COVID at a pretty important formative time in their education. Maybe their freshman year of college, maybe their senior year of high school, maybe their sophomore year of college. And during COVID, as I talked about in that other video, all of the stuff where people are worried about graduation and retention rates and making sure people pass were compounded. Everybody was letting students get away with anything. Everybody was just, and I don't want to blame the teachers for it. It was an impossible position to be put in. But students were being passed without learning a damn thing. Students were able to turn in everything at the end of the semester in some cases. It was maybe a lost year. So the results of that, my friend speculates, are all of these students are going to fail. They're not going to get degrees. And that will end up kind of correcting the degree inflation to some degree, because there will be far fewer people getting college degrees. Because those who were hampered or hindered by COVID won't graduate, and those who were somehow kind of COVID proofed and good enough and already knew what to do and were great students and capable are going to graduate, and it will have taken care of degree inflation. I have a slightly different argument. I think that the sort of compromise in rigor, the compromise in challenge, the compromise in the difficulty of the work, and the lowering of expectations that came from COVID-19 is happening to some degree or another at all sorts of community colleges, state institutions, places that rely on, for one reason or another, retention and graduation rates as measures of success, or for many of them, it's what they rely on to get funding. So what I see, compound that with all sorts of inclusivity, equity, diversity initiatives that are all well-intentioned, and I appreciate every last one of them to some degree. But the way they're being implemented, more and more people are getting more and more degrees or passing classes without really learning the skills that come from doing the really hard stuff. So they're going on to kind of mid-level colleges and universities, and they're not prepared. But I think many four-year schools are also reliant on those retention and graduation rates for a bunch of different reasons, which I'll go into in another video probably. I don't know which one of us is right. I obviously think I am. It's probably going to be some degree of combination of the two. But here's an important side note, especially if you're a relatively typical community college student. Either scenario or any combination of the two sees that whatever happens with regard to degree inflation, it's only going to increase the divide between the haves and the have-nots. Let's say that what they say is true. Degree inflation is going to take care of itself because those people who are able to get all of that robust soft skill development that they needed to study hard, work hard, the foundations in those prerequisite courses, they were able to get it in spite of COVID. Well, what was likely the cause of their ability to get it? Probably worked pretty hard, but they probably also had family members who could help them. If they're seniors in high school and their parents are looking at their coursework and like, yeah, this isn't enough, let's supplement it. Let's get you a tutor. Let's make you do some Khan Academy exercises. Let's discuss this stuff. Let me get you into a private school or a charter school where they might be a little more COVID proof. All of those things require a little bit of economic stability and a little bit of economic freedom. It's hard to sit down with your kid and do their homework or look at their classes during COVID if you're working 3 jobs. It's hard to know what's going to be expected of a college student if you've never been to college. So the cream that's going to rise to the top in his scenario will be all of the students who already had a whole bunch of those skills, and the place they likely got them was the result of luck or privilege or a little bit of financial stability. My scenario, I'm just watering shit down more. I just want everybody's getting a degree and they're all going to be worthless, except for, if you go back to that follow-up video I did, right? A degree from MIT is always going to be worth something. A degree from Harvard's going to be worth something. A degree from Duke's going to be worth something. And I'll make sure over the course of the next 6 months of doing these videos that I mention every top 25 college or university in the United States so no one feels left out. So if my version happens, then those elite schools are going to become more and more elite because everybody else is going to be blah and blah and blah. The sea of milquetoast. 50% of the population ends up with a bachelor's degree, but the bachelor's degree doesn't signify anything because it was all compromised by trying to appease students, trying to make it easy, trying to include everybody, making sure we preserve retention and graduation rates. There's like a million different reasons that might go into it, which is going to make that degree from MIT more valuable, which, by the way, I don't want to shit on Allison, but I will eat my shirt if she has a degree from Sloan, right? If her marketing degree is from Sloan, she's getting opportunities and she's sending out 100 resumes a week. She's going to get interviews, but she's not. She would be grinding 70, 80 hours a week in her entry-level marketing job, realizing, oh my God, I'm going to pay my dues. I'm going to get some sweet stock options, possibly gaining meaningful experience. I've got headhunters who are going to start knocking on my door because I went to fucking MIT's business school. So here's where this whole dire situation can work out in your favor. Whether it's the case that degrees are going to get harder to get, so only the people who are really well prepared, really good students are capable of getting them, or people are going to be handing out degrees like candy on Halloween and everybody's going to have one. Well, how are you going to compete? What can inflation proof your degree so that it's valuable in either of those situations? I'm going to tell you. It's a secret. Be the very best student you can be. Stage whispers are always creepy. I can't wait to hear that back because I bet it's super fucking creepy. Especially into a microphone. Yeah, be a great student. You might not know how to be a great student. Really be great at learning to be a great student. Try really hard. Do all of the things that you know to do and be really, really open to learning how to do the other ones. Take complete and total responsibility for your education and making sure that you get the most out of every single ounce of it. That's what you can do. Follow instructions, show up on time, be easy to work with, be prepared for every class. Start with the things you know how to do, and if there's stuff you don't know how to do, ask people. If you ask and are earnest and genuinely want to learn, people are going to help you. But whatever you do, don't be the person sitting in the back of the class who shows up like 1 out of every 3 times, scrolling through TikToks, and then be pissed off that you didn't get something out of your education. Because it's up to you to get it. If you signed up for a 15-week CrossFit class, you signed up for 3 days a week of group workouts at Maniac Yeti Cro-Mag Beast Mode Alpha Cave Fitness, which is clearly a CrossFit gym. And they're doing workouts, group workouts, 3 days a week. Everybody come in. I'm pretty sure CrossFit has like workout of the day sort of thing. And you go in on those 3 days and you do the workouts and you seek the help of the trainers there and they help you with their form and they're yelling at you and they're motivating you. And you finish all the workouts when you're there. And if you can't finish them, you go as hard as you can until you can't. And then you follow their instructions for the off days. Nutrition, sleep, recovery. You're doing the workout of the day at home and taking one off rest day a week and doing everything as they say it for 15 weeks. Guess what's going to happen? At the end of that 15 weeks, you are going to be fitter than you are now, or you're going to be injured. But that's a different bone to pick with CrossFit. You're going to get fit. You're going to get more fit. School is the exact same way. It's the exact same thing. It's supposed to be training. So if you sign up for 3 workouts a week, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, or 2 workouts a week, you have a Tuesday, Thursday, or a Monday, Wednesday class, go do the workouts every week. Yeah, but I don't like them. You would never in a million years say that about a personal trainer. If you had a personal trainer who you hired and you got there and you're like, not feeling push-ups today. This is boring. I'm not going to do them. I'm just going to bullshit them. That's fine. You should quit and not go to that personal trainer anymore. But you damn sure at the end of the day wouldn't be like, well, I didn't get fit because my trainer sucked. And if you did, someone here watching this is a personal trainer and it's like, yeah, I have clients who do that. Yeah, and they're idiots. You got to give the training program a chance by giving it everything you have. Don't complain. Don't be frustrated. Follow the instructions to the best of your ability. Ask meaningful, real questions. Don't dodge responsibility. Don't try to get out of shit. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't chat GPT. Do your best to get the most out of every class you can. And even if you aren't getting straight A's, even if you aren't having the best time of your life, you're going to have a more valuable experience, guaranteed. I will give you a money back guarantee. Every dollar you spent on Chad's YouTube videos, I will give back to you. Times 100,000. Yeah, I know they're free. So, that's what I'm expecting. That's the secret. Because if you really try, if you really grind, if you really do all of those things I talked about, even in classes you don't like with teachers you don't like. And again, here's something too. Let's say something comes up and you have to miss class. If you're grinding, if you're really working hard, your teacher will notice. And week 10, when you're like, shit, I really don't want to go to class. I can't. Something happened in my personal life or I'm sick. It's going to be way easier for them to be like, yeah, no big deal. Why? Because it won't impact your grade much because you have 112% because you've been crushing everything and working really hard. Or they'll be more likely to be empathetic because they'll realize, oh, well, yeah, this person comes to class. Something legit must be happening. I'll try to work with them. If you have a complaint about a class, if you think a class is unfair or stupid or the teacher doesn't know what they're talking about, which is hilarious because I hear about complaints like that once in a while, like students make complaints like, my teacher doesn't know what they're talking about. That might be true, but they sure as hell know a lot more than you did. You do. And if they don't, get 110% in the class first. If what they're saying is so easily identifiable as wrong, cool, give them the answers they want. Learn the shit on your own. And at the end of the class, after you have 120% and A++, then go complain about it. When you complain and have like a D- in the class, it's clear that you're just complaining because you're a wah-wah, angry baby about your grade. But if you have 110%, you finished the class, you crushed it, you got an A+, and the teacher would give you a recommendation, then you go to then you complain about it, that's a different story. Everything is better. Everything's more valuable. Everything gives you more freedom. Everything gives you more opportunity if you work really fucking hard. If you work really hard, guess what happens? You're going to get opportunities for TA positions, research positions, tutoring positions. People will notice you and want to offer you jobs on campus. People will be willing to write you great recommendations. All of a sudden, you're no longer one of 40% of the population above 25. You're one of a handful who not only got a degree, but also got really great grades and was active in their academic community and did this, and this. And you'll always succeed. But if you aren't willing to do those things, do not, Allison it, and 5 years from now complain that your degree wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. But that wasn't because of the institution. That wasn't because of the people around you. Because since you watched this video, now you realize it's up to you. It's 100% on you. But Chad, you say, how will I know if I'm doing enough? How will I know that I've inflation-proofed my degree and my college experience? Well, I'll give you a target that'll more or less work 99% of the time. Shoot for the Dean's List. We're going to wrap this all up, bring it all the way full circle to talking about our 7.7 to 10% graduation rates in the 60s. When a college degree did mean something, it was a ticket to a job. The Dean's List at most schools is 10-ish%. Top 10% of the students. Some places it's as low as 20%. Guess where that gets you if you're in the top 10 to 20% of 40% of people getting bachelor's degrees? Like 48. Like somewhere in that 5 to 10% range. The exact same level of accomplishment that those boomers who had it made, who got a college degree and could just go out there and get a job with it, and don't understand how hard it is for people of this generation, well, you can put yourself in their position by making the Dean's List. It's not going to be easy, not for everybody. It depends on what coursework you're taking as well, but I can help you get there. So, the goal is the Dean's List. How do we get there? By doing all the things I talked about. Specifically, what does it take to do each and every one of those things? Well, I'm here to help. And there's resources all over the place. Your school has resources. The internet has resources. But if you have a specific question about a specific task or how to do something well, ask here in the comments. I'll address it. Our goal is Dean's List or bust. We're going to all have degrees that are worth a damn. And I think I can help you get there. Thanks again for the time. I hope all is well. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you know exactly what to do with them. Send them my way. Thanks so much for the time. Bye.